ban phase this time around and saying, look, we're going to prove that we can beat you even faster with a completely different composition that we've left open on purpose.
Yeah, and something really interesting about Ning specifically is that he has been a very big fan of this Syndra, which has been target banned from the side of JDG, and they are going to naturally pick that Lee Sin away, where Ning responds with the Viego, and this is exactly what you want, right? Because you don't want Ultra Prime to be playing standard, you want them to play something spicy, and it does look like they are going to put a lot of focus onto this jungle role and getting Ning ahead. So I'm expecting Forge to play utility like the Lissandra or even the Annie that is still up and available, where it is going to be another match of the Jinx and Aphelios, but maybe JDG just take the run out again.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see what they want to try and work with here, but might just lock in the Annie as well. We are seeing Knight put in a lot of emphasis to really kind of set himself up as a facilitator for his team. In previous seasons and previous splits, it was very much about Knight having the carry potential. Of course, we always remember his 1v3 on Knight, on Silas as defending his base and whatnot, but it does feel like sometimes it is about him, especially in previous iterations of top esports, it was about him carrying rather than setting up. This time around, though, you've Ruler, you've 369, you have carries available to you on your team. You don't need to be the sole damage dealer, and it feels like he's fitting into that role very nicely.
Yeah, and exactly. Nautilus is going to get locked in for the side of Ultra Prime, which they were hovering the Lulu, which I am not a very big fan of because you have the Viego who needs setup when it comes to these skirmishes early on in the game. And the Renata is going to get taken off as they expect that to be Annie mid for two games in a row. So I'm expecting JDG to also ban out a lot of these mid lane matchups where Annie does struggle into those mages and just getting lane party because they do outrange you. So what is Knight going to really target down for the second banning phase is going to be up to them. It does seem like they're going to go for the top laners, as 369, I feel like he is one of the most fun top laners to watch because he is so flexible when it comes to his champion pool. And the cannon, even the Rumble, has been extremely popular ever since they got their buffs in patch 13.5.
Yeah, getting the extra magic resistance shred on those harpoons definitely feels very good as a little bit of a Rumble one trick myself. Do feel, I'll be totally honest, feels better in jungle, but that's just my own personal opinion.
JDG took away the Lissandra and the Annie. So
yes,
Forge, I said that he needed to play something that sets up this Viego very well with the amount of CC. It is going to be the Ace Hover 4 now, but it definitely isn't the most ideal. I feel like maybe a Veigar could work extremely well into Lee Sin, but that is just what Forge is most comfortable on. It does seem like it isn't going to be Ace, and it is going to be Taliyah.
Definitely feels like the Taliyah gives you a little bit more defense against something like the Annie Lee Sin combination we saw so many times there, though it didn't lead to any kills, or not many at least. The Annie was just constantly all-inning on top of Forge. You saw Knight just constantly being such a nuisance in those situations. So really excited to see what they can do with the Taliyah this time around. The KSante gets locked in, but that's an Annie support this time around. So they actually baited it out a little bit, and they're going to throw the Syndra. The Syndra has endless priority going into something like a Taliyah.
How very classic of Knight, as he does always fight for that mid lane party, which allows Kanavi to do his thing on the Lee Sin once again. It is going to be the Gnar considered for this last pick, which will be fine as you do go even up against the KSante, even doing a little bit more than KSante when it comes to the first 5 levels. But it is going to be Jinx for Doggo in this game too, and I've been a very big fan of the Jinx ever since she has been reintroduced into the meta because she is a very good answer when the Aphelios and the Zeri is still up and available. Obviously Zeri has been taken off, so JDG had to respond with the Aphelios, but Jinx, when it comes to these team fights, she is just pure damage, and you need to play up those resets and even Viego for these major objectives to really secure that second win up against JDG.
Well, JDG now looking to try and top off their season with a
2, but it's all going to be up to how the mid lane happens, as it's going to be another 5-man stack, but this time no ARAMing.
Not answered this time around, I will say. A little bit risky when you don't have disengage, like the handshake, which can displace and move people around. So the Gyos roar out. Ultra Prime really getting aggressive right now. I love that Ruler kind of recognized, look, they did it in game 1. They're probably going to do it in game 2. Let's get ourselves nice and cozy right up against our turret. Make sure we're not losing out on absolutely anything in this one. Does he know?
He
I don't
doesn't
think
know.
he knows, but I think he has what I call the ADC Spidey sense, you know?
Oh, they
he has an
saw
inkling.
him.
He has an inkling that something is happening, so he's not going to give over any of his summoners or any of his time to such an idea.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, JDG did also walk in as a 3-man unit, putting that ward down at the Raptors. And because there were no fanning from, they didn't spot anyone from the classic fan out of Ultra Prime, they just expected something up in that bottom side once again. And lucky Ruler, he didn't step forward anytime soon. And it isn't going to result in too much, as Ning is going to also start the blue buff. But I want him to be playing towards his bottom side because Jinx, I mean, to be fair, not just Jinx, it is an ADC focused meta. So even if you do path towards top lane, it's going to be extremely hard to try and kill 369 in the early levels.
For sure. It's definitely going to be a difficult one. It's why KSante has kind of been more of like, you know, a staple for JDG. I just feel like even with the nerfs, it's like 369. It kind of fits into everything. He plays weak side with it. He has no problem with it. He can play safe. He can get kills with it on his own as well. There's so many little things that can work for him in those regards. And this is kind of the different setups, if you will, that 369 and JDG. Yeah, I was going to say, this is what he can do.
Well, I don't think this is what's supposed to happen when you do have the range advantage up against KSante. You do also have the fleet. The hook goes wide, unfortunately. Missing did also start the E, so it's not going to be any return stun, but he just hit 2. Not going to expect too much, but that's a really bad trade from Hery, and he's already pushed in as Ning is also parting towards top lane.
This could be an insta-kill if you're not careful. The stun is good, but follow-up damage not quite ready there. Kanavi was just kind of, you know, like a kid. Wasn't ready. God, you can't do that. Wasn't ready. But doesn't mean that we see that JDG are going to have a little bit more priority here in this top half of the map, pushing mid and pushing top. And Kanavi playing exceptionally well. I love this as well. He's kind of saying, look, you expect me to go for the big ticket item, which is the buff. I'm not going to go for the buff. I'm going to go for the Krugs because I know I can take that for free.
Yeah, and this is just because 369 has so much lane priority where he's able to rotate first. Ning obviously spots out Kanavi as he did smell something happening at his Krugs. Kanavi is one of the most aggressive junglers that we have in the LPL, and Ning, he's just going to get soloed because it is just that dual diff as you also have the red buff in Kanavi's hand. Also, Syndra most likely going to be the first one here as well.
I mean, this is tough right now for Ning. You just can't fight this right now. The Q not going to be thrown out just yet. We can see Knight already moving out. Forge has moved around the backside of this one here. Knight doesn't have a great idea of where Forge is, or an exact one, but he does have a fairly decent
Look at solo lanes.
inkling. Yeah, these solo lanes are just kind of coming in right now. Hery's going to hit Mega, which isn't actually ideal in this situation. We are going to see them take away using the Syndra powers and a smite. That is Kanavi taking away 2 camps. Negate in bot side. Not ideal, to be perfectly honest, because Doggo cannot really follow up on that. The Jinx not exactly the strongest in the first few levels.
You know what's the most annoying when you do have a Syndra on the enemy team? When level 1 they place a ward down and they just use their W and yoink it across this wall where it stops your clear for like a good 10 seconds, I would say, as it has to reset, running all the way back to where it spawned. But that is exactly what we saw from Knight as Kanavi just secured the red buff with that smite, and that is extra time for him to be aggressive and have a lot of pressure onto Ning when it does come to these 1v1s.
As an explosive start here for JDG. They're just getting some little small advantages here or there. Nothing too crazy to kind of go for. But this is a problem within itself, because I talked about this in the last game. You play standard, you play equal. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Ooh, I like the idea from Baolan. I like the idea. Use the minion dematerializer to open up an opportunity to maybe catch a hook onto Ruler, but Ruler very wise to his tricks.
He's so as well, so I don't expect any action happening for this bottom lane just quite yet. But Rule already picking up one tower play from just how laning has been going. Hook also doesn't land here as well, as Missing responds with the stun. But we can already see how good laners JDG has. Everyone has lane priority, and that is just what Kanavi needs to work off to get that early tempo ahead, and he's able to secure those major objectives with this Inferno Soul also being on the map. Inferno Dragon.
I was going to say, it's like, my God, Soul's coming out. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be a cool change.
No. We don't need Soul at 5 minutes, no thanks.
That'd be such a fun. That would be like that would get rid of these scaling picks. It would be like no scaling for you. But Kanavi has snuck himself here into the brush. There is a level 6 available to Hery and 369 as here we go. Not going to get the knockback. Kanavi just about going to miss the Q as well. So Hery will keep himself nice and safe. Dragon could be available here for Ultra Prime if they want to try and move everyone towards it. They don't have the Jinx there yet. They're just kind of using this opportunity, this small moment, if you will, to get some priority around the Dragon Pit and, of course, the red buff area of the enemy jungler. But now there's going to be a 3v3 in mid lane, because everyone's kind of here. Baolan gets engaged upon immediately. Flash in, get the double stun down. They put down the unleash power onto Ning, who flashes away. Forge just cannot do any of the relative damage. The scat of the week is good. One more auto would have killed him off, but first blood to JDG regardless as they call the bluff of Ultra Prime.
Baolan just kind of gets lost in the enemy jungle, and Missing comes in with the flash double stun, and as that Nautilus with the Glacial, you aren't too tanky, and that is going to be first blood into the hands of Knight. But I was just gonna say how Ultra Prime, they are working alongside Forge, who is level 6 now, to look for those skirmishes, but they just seem like they're all over the place, Oisin.
Yeah, they really do, and it's just, again, JDG, playing standard into them is not going to help you out, in my opinion. It feels like it is going to be just one of those moments where you have to just take as much as you possibly can. You have to try and go for these fights. You have to be aggressive. If you're not, you're just going to get called out on so many levels, and it's going to be difficult for you to really kind of make that one work in your favor. But we'll have a look at the replay here, because, again, it's just JDG kind of recognizing, okay, well, the standard play here is jungle supports go mid.
Yeah, the combo from Forge also misses onto Knight, where Missing lands a really nice double stun onto the support and jungle of Ultra Prime, where Syndra ult wasn't even used onto the support, where it was just chucked onto Forge. A really nice ult E from Knight, but it isn't going to result in a second kill. But still, so much lane party from JDG, as Ning is once again struggling to find angles to gank anything.
Gonna struggle, to say the least. Going to struggle, but JDG happy to let this just relax, take their time. Up 2,000 gold just passively, it feels like. And again, it comes from bot lane, comes from honestly every lane except for top, which is kind of having a bit of an advantage there. You see the gold toggles there, you can see 500, 600, 500. It just kind of ekes up little by little, bit by bit. And that's why JDG, I feel like if they just play this game standard, they're just going to win out. It may take a little longer than I anticipated because they're not being thrown crazy amounts of kills their way, but it's still just going to be a very easy game for Ultra Prime. You need to make sure you're trying to go for something. Honestly, I feel like you need to go for something a little bit more aggressive right now because it just feels like you're just going to lose anyway. So why not, you know? Go for something.
Yeah, the Herald is also up and available for both teams, where it's going to get started on Ning, spotted on a ward. However, Doggo rotates first as the ADC. He's just giving up his wave in the bottom lane. He doesn't care anymore. He's playing for the jungler this time around. As JDG reset a little bit too late. Hery's so low, no TP. I don't know if they can actually contest this anymore.
I was going to say, you've got Hery going to have to be on a full reset because he is not really tanky enough or healthy enough, I would say, to take this fight right now. You do have mid laners moving up, pretending to be junglers. AD carries moving into the mid. Baolan looking to see if he can maybe catch a hook there, but not going to quite get it. They'll get a hook back there onto Knight, but a flash for Forge as he went a little bit too far forward. There's the Moonlight Vigil, peppering down health bars, green and white.
Another hook?
No hook to be done.
No hooks done, as I mean, Rua just gets to do whatever he wants in these team fights, as this Annie pick just looks really strong in JDG. I think Missing honestly looks even better on the Annie support than Knight sitting in that mid lane, and I just really like Knight when he does pick a carry himself. JDG having complete control over this topside jungle does mean they are going to get forced off this Herald, and it just seems like a repeat of game 1.
I love this. They might even continue on with it.
Him.
I was going to say, Baolan actually took a fair bit of damage on the back end of that from the Sivers, but just plays like a ward, like a bouncer at a club, you know? You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And just keeps it so that, you know, again, we're looking at more and more kind of value.
It missed?
It missed.
Oh, no.
Hitbox, please.
That looked like it was going to hit, but I really want to see Ultra Prime utilizing this Weaver's role from Forge and making these side lane plays for Doggo, because you can't just be sitting AFK mid lane and trying to out CS Knight, who's already up by around 10, and also having the extra first blood in his pockets. You need to be more proactive, which is Ultra Prime's weakness as a team that is filled with, I would say, a bit of rookies, with Forge also coming in, also Hery in the top lane. They're not as aggressive as you would want to see. Good flash.
Missing. He flashes into a straight line, which means that Missing hasn't really got an opportunity to walk away from this one here. Flash forward there by Ning secures that one, which means he doesn't unfortunately have a stun, but a ruler gonna get jumped on straight away. The resets come out, and this is the proactivity that Ultra Prime needed if they're gonna take a game off JDG.
Good flash, more like good flash into the hook. As Baolan, it's not about the ones that miss, it's about the ones that hit. And of course, the 2 hooks that hit onto the bottom side of JDG is going to be a 2-for-0 trade going into Ning's pocket. So this is going to be a huge turning point for this early game bleed that JDG has been trying to generate. Now with the dragon spawning in 1 minute, no flashes available for the bottom lane of JDG again. So honestly, I think Missing was just being a little bit disrespectful with how he's pathing here, and they just didn't have the reinforcements like the jungler hovering around, where Ruler of course also caught our position. And Kanavi,
I mean, he does get the kick. Doggo flashes, has the cleanse, keeps himself alive. Ning not going to be so lucky. Tibbers playing fantastic keep away there as we get the super mega death rocket coming out for here by the Q. Doesn't go down just yet.
This drinker.
I was just about to say that. It's like healing coming out from Kanavi is insane. All due to that gourd drink. This is before a dragon can even start. JDG taking that 2 kills in bot lane to heart, saying, Ultra Prime, all right, you had your fun. We're going to take some more liberties here with this bot lane.
Rule's gonna pick up his 3rd plate now, where he already has the Gale Force and the 4th. I mean, maybe even 5th. Let's just say 5th. I think this tower's gone, and Kanavi's gonna put that Herald in the mid lane, and it's gonna open up the map once again for the side of JDG to work with. With this dragon also spawning in 30 seconds, I mean, Kanavi on this Lee Sin, he burnt the flash, gets a pick, and he went in for more. I mean, that's just what you expect out of such a confident jungler, and I'm really enjoying Kanavi in his recent games, honestly.
I mean, let's have a look at how this one all kind of picked up here, because it is just straight up a 1v1 at the start. You think that JDG are in the...
First.
I was going to say it's a 3v2 effectively, but a good flash kick to kind of keep Kanavi from getting stunned, but just keeps going in and in and in.
This double stun from Knight is also really nasty, as Forge just doesn't have the damage. Tibbers actually blocked the Q from Forge, and that could have saved Knight. I believe he was in range of dying if it did hit. The dragon is going to get started by Ultra Primer. We haven't seen too much from top lane. Another 1v1 initiator from 369. Is it gonna kill him though?
Let's see. There's a flash. You could tell that 369 wanted him there, but we're gonna have a full engage in this top side. Kanavi doesn't go down. Finally gets killed off by the Jinx Super Mega Death Rocket, and there's 2 kills going over straight away to Knight. Forge will drop. There's the scatter of the week. Doggo, is he at enough distance away? Yes, he is. Hery did TP in, but only getting Mega Gnar now means he's going to be very easy to kind of walk away, especially considering he flashed as well. So that's just going to be another couple of kills, traded back and forth. Dragon secured by Ultra Prime, but you can see already the gold lead. It's nearly 5,000 gold already. So this is just getting harder and harder, despite the kills being so close.
Ultra Prime currently has 2 Merc Treads. I think everyone on Ultra Prime needs a Merc Tread, because look at this choke that JDG decided to take. They do secure the dragon, and Doggo does get excited, but Kanavi gets an angle onto the carry, which is forging this instant double stun from Missing, and also Knight popping that ultimate down. Just means they have so much zoning when it comes to the jungle control. And Ultra Prime, they aren't really able to move at all, and it is going to be 3 more kills into their pockets, and it is the scoreline of 5-3 now.
5-3, 5,000 gold, and I think I've seen this player gold graph before. Very curious.
Familiar, isn't it?
It's a very familiar one coming in here for JDG, as they get all of their carries up ahead of the threshold. 3-0-2 as well on Knight, having a fantastic game of it. Actually Missing picked up 2 kills. I actually completely forgot that it was Knight who was playing
flash.
Ning has no flash. They haven't found him. They haven't found him. So now they know that he hasn't left the pitch just yet. He's probably going to have to ult over the wall. Yeah, he's just going to wait. Not going to use it just yet. There it is, coming in, waiting for a little bit. Everyone just kind of waiting to see. He's like, are you going to use something? Are you going to use something? Eventually, Ning does pop over with the Heartbreaker.
I feel like if Missing decided to Q Ning instead, or Flash Force from Forge.
Oh, that's a great kick, though, into Forge. And Forge has been turned to dust. Baolan is very sorry for what he tried to do to you, Kanavi. And he shall meet his doom by the hands of this insane mid-jungle combination with the added add-on of Missing. And this is just JDG again, just kind of finding advantage after advantage after advantage. 369 may just look for a full-on 1v2. Ning has to flash away because he's in a lot of trouble here. There's the Moonlight Vigil. No flash, because he already used it to get away, and no ultimate either. So his movement was limited. That's a 7,000.
And you know what else is limited? All the kills going around JDG. I believe Missing is currently sitting on the second most kills as Annie support. TP coming out of Ultra Prime, on the Ultra Prime, JDG. I don't think it's going to do too much. Is Hery going to get out? Yeah, the double bounce is going to mean the Gnar is going to get away scratch-free. Herald going into the hands of Kanavi, and Knight has been having a lot of fun tonight because he's picked up Medjai's 2 games in a row. We're going to take another look at the replay of how this all started with Knight landing a stun onto Forge, and Kanavi, might I add, gets a double kick onto the support and mid lane. Missing didn't need to flash here. He thought Knight would have died taking the tower, but this damage from the entire side of JDG is just way too much, and I think Baolan has had a pretty tough series, to be honest, for tonight.
We'll see. I think this game is pretty easily wrapped up. As trying to think of different things that you could go here as Ultra Prime. I'm a little sad that we don't get to play the Ruin King on Viego as much anymore. You know, you go Black Cleaver now after Divine Sunderer. I'm a lore buff. I'm a lore nerd. I love lore.
I'm also a lore nerd.
Are you?
Do you think they're going to introduce Viego's wife into the game, like how they did Lucian and Senna?
I don't know, because it's kind of like, have you read Ruination, the book?
I haven't.
I highly recommend it. I'm not going to spoil it, but very easy read, very fun read. Also curious to see kind of timeline of champions, because obviously the lore is kind of like, you know, different champions exist in different eras and stuff like that. So like Kalista, Viego, and Hecarim all exist in the same era. Well, 369. Wonder what era he's going to exist in as he pops up and tries
KSante, he's not going to die.
Yeah, he's not going to die. Back to the lore.
Yeah, he's out.
But yeah, do you know that Blade of the Ruin King has 3 names? It's Blade of the Ruin King, and Soul Reaver.
Soul Reaver, Jesus,
yes.
That's an edgy name.
It is very edgy, but it's basically like when you get struck by the blade, it like literally reaps your soul.
that's very Ruination of that item.
It did it. Funny enough, it did it before the Ruination.
Oh,
it always did it. Yeah.
They did it first. Well, talking about just champions getting introduced, I think Lucian has one of the coolest login screens that Riot has ever created. You know how they do cinematics?
Oh yeah, the animations
that
and stuff.
That was awesome. Riot doesn't really do it anymore ever since they changed the client, unfortunately.
I know. It's not. It's always these like big sweeping ones now. I would say actually, Milio has his own thing now.
Oh right.
Yeah, he's got his own little thing when you press play, which is kind of cool. He does look like an Encanto character though, which kind of puts me off him a little bit. Got hotfix, thank God.
He has been hotfixed. I actually played him when he was first released, and I think that champion is going to be absolutely broken paired with Jinx, Caitlyn, Aphelios, and I think I saw some posts with Jhin as well. Just anything that can build rapid fire cannon or have extra range is absolutely nuts because it provides so much damage. I believe the passive fired up at max levels, it went to like 50% extra damage, which is magic. And Riot had to hotfix that in 24 hours because of how broken it was. So I can't wait for Milio to come into competitive play because that's the new Yuumi.
I will say, well, no, the new Yuumi is still the Yuumi, but God, I hate that champion so much. But I do think, 369, gonna absorb everything. Everything gets absorbed. But yeah, I think that I'm a terrible feeling that Milio is gonna fall into that line of exceptionally powerful on release, and then gets nerfed into the ground. We'll see if anyone else gets nerfed into the ground as Forge. Yeah, he's dead. Two-man timbers. Baolan, not gonna have a lot of places to go either. You can see more pushing, more pressuring, more damage coming out. You've got Doggo putting in some pretty decent work. But no, Doggo, he's the only one left alive. How many times have we said that this split for Ultra Prime? That's going to be Baron.
I mean,
it's going to be everything.
Yeah. The only bright side of this game is that Doggo hasn't died yet, so maybe he's holding on to dear life that he ends the regular split of this spring. Oh, what was that flash missing? He's playing with like 100 ping or something. Jesus.
We'll have a look at the replay. Maybe it just came off. Maybe he was spamming it to see if it could work. But
he was
that's
really
Baron.
scared.
Don't forget the rocket now does 1200 damage to neutral mantras. But yeah, they try and throw everything at 369, but he's a KSante and he's also 369.
Yeah, it was a really good buffer as well onto the Nautilus ult, so 369 gets away scratch-free as they were just trying to look for more angles onto Knight. Really good cancel from him as well. As they commit everything onto the mid lane of JDG, but Kanavi just kicks forward for like the 10th time this game, and that does mean the mid laner and of course the support, who was going to shortly after follow him in his footsteps. And this choke, I mean, the Jinx trap were a little bit late as Kanavi gets onto the enemy team. Ruler honestly wasn't even in this fight. He does like 2 autos and they still lose.
We're running, keep running. Doggo, I don't know. Did he get stunned? I don't think he got stunned. Did he get stunned?
I don't know. I'm stunned, honestly.
The woman was too stunned to speak. So I'm like, hang on, I'm gonna have a quick check on the replay. I don't actually think he was stunned. I think he just was so afraid of being stunned that he got himself had to cleanse straight away. But we'll say Kanavi doing a fairly decent Shawn Michaels impression right now with that sweet chin music.
He's buffering everything. 369 keeps getting all these ultimates popped into his head, but all he has to do is press W because he's KSante, goddammit.
He is KSante, and he has got 2 items. No one can really touch him right now. It's a little longer than I thought, but I think 369's grandmother is going to be a little bit miffed that she spent full price on tickets and only getting about 40 minutes or 45 minutes of gameplay. As you can see, 369 wants to put on a show. 2-0 and 2. Hasn't had the most kill participation, but it definitely feels like he's been involved all the way through. JDG looking to try and push this one in. A game win here. They will go 2-0 in the series. They will go 13-3 in the split. And they will lock first place in the regular season. They will bring LNG out of Double Limb. It'll be themselves and EDG who get them to the top 2. 369 doesn't want to die. There's a good ultimate. That's a great ultimate. Can't say that it wasn't. 4-man ultimate, absolutely fantastic, but it means nothing because in 44 minutes, combined total time for the 2 games, JDG locked.
And with that, everyone's expectations became true as JDG is your first place team of the regular split for LPL, and they're going to be having a very fun time sitting in that round 4, observing the rest of the competition as everyone has to fight their way to double elimination.
Fighting them in. There's 369's family very happy to see how